In today's video, guys, I want to share with you a Trunda comp for the Hydra clan boss that doesn't require double Yumeko and deals absolutely insane damage, literally. Now, of course, you can run tons of different variations with Trunda for the Hydra clan boss to get a big score in the Hydra clash, but this one is actually really nice. And we are doing it on hard difficulty. I don't have a 6-star on my Trunda, so it's gonna be pretty pointless to attempt to do higher stages. Now, you do require a Yumeko. A lot of people don't know, but if you're running Yumeko and double White Dryer Nia, it's like you're running two different Yumekos in your team, because Yumeko can reset them and they can reset Yumeko. And that's what you're gonna do on and on and on and on and on. And like this, you're kind of like creating pretty much the same effect. Now, how I mentioned, there are different comps, different champions that you can use in here. I normally run Kaimar with Yumeko. You can run Kaimar with White Dryer Nia. You can run Kaimar with Krixia with Yumeko. But only Void champions can reset each other. There are, I think, different comps with Amic Trunkheart, with a Painkeeper. You can make all sorts of different variations. And for whoever is not familiar, why Trunda does such an insane damage is basically because of this skill right here. It's very powerful. Some of the people call it a bug, some people call it just broken, you know, but either way, it's definitely very powerful, way more powerful than anything else in the game. And in a way or another, they definitely need to find a way on how they can adjust it while they're keeping Trunda viable. You know, I don't want to see Trunda nerf like Madman. I don't want to see Trunda nerf like Cadaver, because those were just direct nerfs, killed the entire team directly. You know, that's not something that we want to see with Trunda either. I would like for them to increase the enemy max HP cap in Hydra so they can compete with Trunda, but they don't wanna do that. Now, I do want to give credit where it's due, guys. I think this team was originally created by Timot from IPR, if I'm not mistaken, and the speeds that I'm running, because this team is actually speed tuned, I think they've been created by Galligan from Mad, if I'm not mistaken, you know. So let me just walk you through how this team actually works. Now, there is a lot of RNG involved, guys, with the heads. We have 3 Force heads in this rotation. Is honestly the worst rotation for Trunda. You have Arbiter going first, but I'm going to share the speeds, builds, and everything else with you after we're done with the run. And you have Yumeko going in. We do not need to reset just yet, so we can use any skill that we want on her. With White Dryer Nia, again, we don't need to reset. Now, because we have the Head of Mischief that's Force Affinity, I might have to retry this start a couple of times. I do want to put this in the video so you guys understand the entire process. If we're not one-shotting the Head of Mischief, we're going to have to retry it. I would prefer to one-shot the Head of Torment as well, but we're going to see if we're going to be able to do it or not. So we haven't because we got a weak hit on the Head of Mischief. I targeted that cheeky bugger this time around because he's very annoying. If he steals the buffs, he steals the Thermeter from Yumeko or from White Dryer Nia or from somebody else, you know. That's why I'm starting with Ally Protection, actually. No defense down on the Head of Torment. That's a bit unfortunate. No weaken on the Head of Mischief. My god, what's this 3% chance? We are on hard. I have like 2 million accuracy on my Lydia. What is happening? So a lot of things like this can happen when you start the run, you know, and I would suggest you to just retry it so you're basically able to push a higher damage, you know. 3% is honestly the dumbest thing they've implemented in the game. Okay, so we one-shot 2 of the heads. Unfortunately, not the heads that we need to. So you see, this is a wrong thing that can happen because that messes up the speed tune. Now, you will be able to recover later in the run, and the main idea is to don't have it from the very beginning, you know. The Head of Mischief can create you issues now, especially that he is Force Affinity, you know, and you wanna avoid that from the very beginning. It's gonna be the same if he pinches one of the White Dryer Nia. There's gonna be a bit of an issue too. Okay, so we got that down. Beautiful. Even if the fear procs on us, it doesn't really matter. So we boost the Thermeter with Arbiter. We reset with Yumeko, and then with White Dryer Nia, we reset Yumeko. Then we reset Yumeko again. So Yumeko has her skill back on cooldown, available to use. Then don't get feared. Thank you. You did. Don't get feared. You did. So now Yumeko can reset again. And basically we're just going like this, back and forward. Now you want to make sure you have the right speed on Trunda, because if Yumeko cuts on Trunda and she goes in front of her, you're not going to be able to reset her, because Yumeko, she is gaining turn meter from White Dryania as well. That's why it's so important to have specific speeds on, you know? There we go, we one-shot everybody, and now we can keep on doing this over and over and over again. Now, of course, a lot of things can go wrong in the run. You might not be able to one-shot the heads. In this case, they just spawned straight after I've put defense down. So right now, I might not have enough firepower to one-shot any of them. I might get a lot of weak hits, you know? So all these things can go wrong. But as long as you're kind of like understanding what's happening in the run and you know what you need to do, you're going to be more than fine, you know? So there we go. Now we're going to definitely get down the head of mischief. We can reset again. And from here on, it's going to be a bit safer. Still, other bad things might happen, you know, which hopefully there won't be too many. Look at that. 3 force heads on the board, guys. Very, very painful. Very painful. Weak hit in there. Thankfully, we haven't got any weak hits on the decapitated ones. But still, 77 million damage, turn 7. Keep in mind, we don't have Garptek in here to increase the damage based on debuffs, you know? So you want to make sure you're using the skill from Lydia always when it's available. So like this, you have increased speed on everybody, and you keep that increased speed on them so they don't desync. There we go. Bang, we got them knocked out. Reset again. And you're just doing this over and over again. Now, right here is a problem. Why is it a problem? We have 2 force heads that are decapitated, and I need to hit one of them in order to have a chance at one-shotting the others. So that's why this is going to be a problem. We apply defense down and weaken, but if the Trunda hit will be a weak hit, that's going to put me in trouble, because by the time I'm going to get to reset again, these new heads will spawn out, you know? So hopefully not a weak hit. Okay, not enough firepower to one-shot him, though. But you know what? We're still going at it. We are definitely still going at it. Now, the Head of Mischief will definitely come out to play before my Trunda goes, most probably, yep. Or whatever head gets in instead. Right now, I feel like if I'm not getting a weak hit, I'm definitely going to one-shot the other 2 heads, and that will leave me with the Head of Torment. And that's another thing that can go wrong, the fear proccing too often, you know? Okay, so we got that down. The Head of Torment is still left alive in there. We have the Head of Blight, which is definitely going to be a problem right now, because it's gonna put a Toxic Cloud on. Okay, we got feared. So now if I'm targeting the head that's decapitated, I might not have enough firepower, but either way, we got feared again. So we'll keep on going. That's why I prefer to have the team with Kaimar and Yumeko and Garptek. With Garptek, I can always cleanse my Trunda if needed and still get a lot of firepower out of it, you know? That's definitely very, very helpful. Even like this, I should be able to one-shot them, but this basically pushed me a bit backwards and I lost a bit of damage. So usually you want to have way more damage than I currently have. Sorry. So we are at what? Turn 1534 million damage. The good part right now is that I have a decapitated head as Spirit Affinity. So with Trunda hitting that, most probably I'm going to one-shot the Head of Rat, and the other one might stand, but that's fine, you know. Or okay, that weaken not being applied on is a bit of an issue. I do have my Trunda on a Merciless set, guys, and it's not really needed for this team. The reason why I have it on Merciless is because I run Kaimar and Yumeko, right? So that is definitely needed in there to get my cooldowns decreased a little bit every now and then, you know. So there we go. It's pretty straightforward, this team, though. Of course, it cannot run on auto like a double Yumeko team, but either way, I think it's a very solid one, you know. Like it can definitely get you crazy damage. So far, we've been a bit unlucky with all of the setup at the beginning, the weak hits and everything else that we got. But hopefully the RNG will kind of like reverse, and we're gonna have a better experience from here on, and we're gonna be able to push in bigger numbers, you know. I have a curse set on Lydia. I have another curse set on one of the White Dryaneas, just to put that hex on as often as possible. So as long as we don't have 3 force heads spawning on the board all the time, we're not really gonna have many issues, you know. So hopefully no weak hit on the head of Mischief to one-shot it. And then we're gonna drop the Terminator on the other ones. Beautiful, look at that, beautiful. You see, now we are looking much better. So all you're using on White Riot, Nia, and Yumeko is reset, nothing else. It's literally like a double Yumeko team, but of course you're missing one slot for a different character that can enhance your damage furthermore, you know. There we go, a weak hit there, that's fine. We are at 300 million damage so far. So this, I'm not sure how much damage is going to get on my account. It's definitely a team that can push billions, you know. So I just kind of like wanted to share this with you guys. I know from personal experience how hard it is to have 2 Yumekos. It took me, goddammit, 2 years to get one. I don't want to think about it, how long it's going to take me to get the next one. Now, again, we are in a decent situation here because we have different heads that spawned and are not all force. Plus, I still have one decapitated head that is not force that I can hit now and probably one-shot the other heads. Oh, that was so freaking close, guys. Look at that. The head of Torment is literally laughing at me right now. That's when the problem begins. Like, right now, we got a force head. We don't have enough firepower to get them all down. Another one spawns. So now I'm in a pretty bad spot, you know. Especially that this just happened, you know. So I'm gonna have to reset again just for the simple fact that the fear messed up my Trunda, which is fine. Hopefully we can apply that defense down. If the head of Torment would die before or take a turn, it would be perfect, beautiful, because right now we can one-shot a few heads like this, or just that one particular head. And that's how the run will go pretty much for the entire duration. I think this is going to take quite a bit of time since, considering that we're only at turn 28. Come on, one shot more. There we go. We got another magic one down. I think I missed something because I don't have the reset available. I did not pay attention to what I was doing because I was looking at the score, but that's fine. Again, we can recover. It's not the end of the world if things go south, you know. Just push that Terminator on and basically keep on doing what you're doing. Okay. That's beautiful. So she can reset right now and we can basically resync the team. So it's not hard to recover if you know exactly what you need to do. Or maybe somebody got feared. I'm not even sure what happened there. I think I just messed it up myself. I think I haven't clicked on the right thing. So right now I'm going to target the weakest head, which is the head of Torment right here. Pop in some nice damage. Now when I have Gerptek in the team, guys, with my other comp, my Trunda sometimes hits for like 60+ million damage on decapitated heads. This time around, I haven't seen anything over 30, you know. So that definitely reduces the damage quite a bit. Because we're running this. But is a safer team because you can recover much easier than from the other, you know. And yeah, basically that's how it goes. You see how Yumeko always goes after Trunda to reset everybody? That's very, very important, you know. So I feel like that can get messed up if the head of Mischief steals Terminator from one or the other. I had cases where my Trunda died, and honestly was not a problem. Even though I revived her, she was still going in front of Yumeko. Kill the head of Mischief. Oh damn, that was close. But I'm gonna take a turn before he does, so that will allow me to basically kill him and recover from the entire situation here. Okay, again, weak hit, so this can be an issue. Very curious to see who's gonna get busted by it. Trunda doesn't have extra buffs, so he went for Yumeko. Okay, that's not too bad. That's not too bad. Got my buffs. So right now again is another problem. I have force heads, decapitated. I gotta pray to don't be weak hits, you know. Beautiful. So we got the head of Mischief down, and Yumeko did not reset. So you see, it's already a bit of off sync in here with my White Dryad Nias, but hopefully that shouldn't be a big issue. We're gonna have to basically resync it slowly, you know. Now in the perfect scenario, none of these things would happen. 3 force heads again. If you do this on a different rotation, where you don't have so many force heads, is definitely not going to be as bad, you know. But again, you see, we're still in sync, and that's all that matters. Even though some of them are dropping Terminator because of the head of mischief or something like that, we're still fine. Now, my biggest concern here will be when Trunda gets devoured. So I can always bait. I can bait the Hydra heads with putting high crit damage on somebody else. Which honestly, considering how much crit damage my Trunda has now, I haven't even realized that she has so much. It will create me some issues to get that done. You know, it's not so easy to get so much crit damage on other characters, especially if they're not damage dealers. You know. But there you go, turn 41, 800 million damage. So this can comfortably break 3-4 billion damage. I'm convinced that maybe even more with on a different rotation. This rotation is definitely. I just messed it up. This rotation is definitely not the best for it. So I just messed it up here. I'm gonna have to basically wait a little bit to recover from it. So here we are, guys, a bit shy of 5 billion damage. I gotta say it, I underestimated a bit the firepower of this team, and I think in a good rotation, not this one, I think you can definitely hit 8+ billion by having similar builds on Trunda like me, you know. So it's definitely pretty nasty. I didn't thought that it's gonna have so much firepower. Now again, it's the same situation, same bad scenario. You know, you have the force heads. I had this happening to me, guys, like a million times. I had champions dying, which of course it can happen. In total, my champions got devoured 4 times. So just kind of like to give you an idea, which is fine. You can easily recover. You can free your champions out, you know, and get the job done. I do think that is a bit harder with Trunda to free her out. It took me a little bit more. Thankfully, she was devoured first, so that was for 5 turns. I had plenty of time to free her. Even though the head of Blight put a toxic cloud on the head of mischief that devoured my Trunda, I still managed to get her sorted, you know. So that's definitely something really good. Good to see that you can recover no matter what, you know. Like, it doesn't matter what happens, you get to recover. Like this one right here again is a bad scenario. We just got provoked, so some things might keep us backwards a little bit, you know, hold us back a little bit. The cleanse right now, spread increase attackers, why not? Do that attack. Let's get some more Terminator. I should have the skill from Trunda anyway. I don't think I'm going to have enough firepower, especially if I'm going to weak hit. So I'm going to try my luck anyway. Thankfully, no weak hit. We got the head of red down. So you gotta gamble, guys. But here we are. That was the last one. 4.7 billion. Almost 4.8. Trunda with an impressive 4.1 billion damage. Then, of course, we have Lydia with 568 million. Arbiter, 434k damage. I'm not even sure what she did here, but she's got to get out of the team because she made no damage. Yumeko, 4.3 million. A White Dryad Nia 10, and the second White Dryad Nia, which I can't remember if she's on a curse set or no, dealt 21. But the second White Dryad Nia doesn't have masteries. So yes, there is one champion that's pretty hard to get, which is Yumeko. Then there's Trunda, which is pretty hard to get. The rest of them definitely not hard to get. You have 2 free champions, 2 epic champions, and you can achieve insane damage. And it took me 1 hour. Most of the other teams that I'm running on a manual for Nightmare and Brutal, they take me around 1.5 hours because the ally attacks, all the slow animations and stuff. But I'm gonna keep the result for this one, guys, because it's good enough, and I'm definitely not planning to spend another hour to get this done. Starting with the fastest champion in the team, guys, which is Arbiter. Now, I wish I would have, of course, a 9-piece protection set on her, but I don't have that available at the moment for her, and I just changed the build from Arena to this. I don't have masteries for Hydra, so that's pretty irrelevant. Even if you do, she's not really going to do damage. She barely uses any other skill than the A3. In terms of total stats, so speeds, guys. Keep in mind, you can go a bit higher if you go higher on all of the characters. Now, the main idea is to don't have characters overlap. So Yumeko, very important to don't overlap. Trunda, how I mentioned before. So I have almost 300 speed on Arbiter. The rest of the stats don't really matter whatsoever. Then the second fastest is Yumeko. Again, the set doesn't matter whatsoever. She's only going to use the A3. In some scenarios where you need to use a different skill because you have bad RNG, is fine. If you gotta use the A1 or the A2 to try and free your Trunda, again, is fine. So you can give her crit rate gloves to have a bit of extra damage to free your Trunda, you know. Masteries, again, arena masteries, completely irrelevant, okay? The only masteries that really matter is, of course, Trunda and Lydia. The rest, they don't really matter. And we have total stats on Yumeko, guys, how you may notice where we are. 284 speed. Now, you can't really go much higher on her, okay? Because she will overlap Trunda. Very, very important. The rest of the stats, how I mentioned, they do not matter. Then we have the next champions in line in terms of speed. White Dryad Nia. I do have a Cruelty Blessing on her, but she's not really using the A1, not very often anyway. Total stats on her, we have 278 speed. Now, she needs to be slower than Yumeko, of course, so they can reset each other, and only by a little bit of speed. You don't need to have anything too crazy. I do have masteries on her, and that is offense and support, of course. Sniper, for whenever we get is the A1 to put the hacks. And yeah, it is pretty helpful if you can make it happen, of course. Then we have the second White Dryad Nia, which again, she is on a curse set as well. Total stats pretty much identical in terms of speeds, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, 278. So they need to be close. 277, 276. But that is, keep in mind with the area bonuses, okay? So very important. The rest of the stats, again, are completely irrelevant. You might want to have the accuracy to put the decreased speed whenever you're using the A1, but that's about it, you know? Then masteries, we have none on this one. I've just built her today, actually. Then we have Lydia on a curse set as well. Now, the best thing for this team would be Lydia on 9-piece protection set. She will increase the damage by 10% on Trunda, which will be pretty damn nasty. If you have 9-piece on Arbiter as well, you're gaining a 15% damage bonus, so that is going to be massive. Total stats on Lydia, guys. So let's head over right here. 276 speed. So she needs to be slower than the White Dryad Nias in most of the scenarios, to start with at least. After, of course, a lot of things can happen in the fight, and probably she's going to be faster, she's going to be slower, and it's going to change back and forward. So it's not as important as long as she is faster than Trunda, okay? So you don't want Lydia to go after Trunda because she needs to apply the defense down before Trunda. Now, I had a few times when that happened to my team, you know? So I tried to somehow get my Trunda to lose some turn meter if the Head of Mischief was attacking her. So then I was kind of like bringing them back on track, Lydia to go in front of Trunda. As long as you're keeping a good gap in their speeds, is fine. My Trunda is actually a bit too fast, so she's too fast for the team. Masteries, I have offense and support on Lydia. And Trunda, guys. Yes, she is built on a Merciless and a Zeal set. The only thing that's really missing on this Trunda is to have a Blood Shield accessory. So if I would have a Blood Shield banner, or maybe to get a Merciless banner to be able to get that on, it would be amazing. Now, my speed on her at the moment, without the Hydra bonuses, is 255. You want to get her at around 240 plus, enough to make sure that Yumeko is not going to overlap her, you know? Very, very important. If Yumeko overlaps her, the team won't work, guys. Total stats on Trunda, we have 8.7k attack, 255 speed, full crit rate, 354 crit damage. With the Hydra Clash bonuses, we are getting 30% crit damage because that's maxed. 161 attack. I'm only at 5% on that, if I'm not mistaken. So I'm going to get a bit more in the near future, of course. I have my Ignore defense maxed. I haven't focused accuracy or resistance just yet, but once I'm done with the attack and defense, I'm going to move over to finish the speed and resistance. Because if I have resistance on them, the Head of Mischief can't really mess me up most of the times, you know? Now, the original build that I had on mine was actually a bit different. So my main Trunda, because I'm running her a bit different, how I mentioned in the other team, looked a bit more disgusting than this. So check that out. A trade of 1,300 attack just because of the boots. The boots that I had on her, which are these ones right here, they have no attack percentage, no crit damage. I haven't fixed the ascension. So I just wanted to kind of like show you that an 8k attack can do it. But Hydra bonus area. But the bonus area for Hydra, guys, is extremely, extremely important because having that ignore 20% defense is massive, you know? So the main thing that you should prioritize first is this one on everything. Fire Knight and the rest, like how you may notice. That's the main thing that I prioritized on the Curse City, in the Sand Devil Necropolis, Hydra, and Fire Knight. I do not care about the rest of them. They're pretty irrelevant, you know? So Hydra is gonna be very, very important. But that's everything for this video, guys. Hopefully you found it helpful. Is, let's call it a more budgetish version of the W Mecha theme, but it pretty much works the same in principles. The only thing is you're losing a slot from a champion that can basically come in with a strong passive to increase the damage. Much love, and I'll catch you all in the next video. Peace.